custom works. We're fitting a slide out kitchen to a Land Rover. Now you know, I like customs, I like hot rods, and if you know as much as me about Land Rovers, you'll know that this is a Land Rover. Alright then, so, the cooking drawer thing, which I think is going to be called the, what's it called, Kirst?
Auto Chef 5000.
The Auto Chef 5000. This is up to the side of the van. This bit slides out on this actuator in there, on these absolutely massive runners, which really, you know, like, super strong, carries loads of weight, gas bottle goes in there. So what I'm doing today, I'm going to test fit this part actually in the car, which I've only sort of slightly done before. I've sort of had a shifty around, but I'm going to start looking at brackets, things like that, to mount this actually into the car and bolt it down to the chassis. And then I'll be taking a look at this and this end. Now, this end's very complicated because when this shuts and seals up to there. But in here is the gas. So when I put the front on here, the front has got to be easily removable, and the gas tank has got to be fixed nicely in place, but it's got to be super easy. So this has got to be a thing that I can just remove, but can't be removed and then people steal things. And also the gas has got to be in there good. So quite a few sort of technical hurdles, but there's no time like the present, and the only way to get over technical hurdles is actually to do the job. So let's do it. The box is in the Land Rover, and we've got it packed up on some bits of wood at the moment. Now, to hold that box, which is a big stainless steel box, it's going to have gas in there, it's going to have cooking stuff, it's got the hob and the rings, a whole sliding mechanism. There's a fair bit of weight to it. And what I want to make sure is that it's never going anywhere. So I've made these brackets. This one goes right under near the prop shaft. At this end, it does bolt. It is a body brace, but it's aluminium. But it does bolt to bolts to that, and we'll put some nice big washers on there because aluminium is very weak. And also, this goes to the rear cross member, and that bolts in some really strong steel. So that's going to hold the inner part. And then at this end, this bolts to a body mount, and this bolts to the chassis, all steel at this end. And it goes that way up, then these parts will be bonded to the bottom of the stainless box. So there, you know, there's a little bit of sort of vibration resistance there. They'll be bonded in like a thick layer of bonding, and so we don't have to in any way drill or compromise the stainless steel box. We want that to stay nice and waterproof, nice and strong, and really hold up. So they're the two brackets, and they look super complicated. I've been under the car for the best part of a day to make these. It's just nice to know and to feel confident that the brackets you made are going to hold the bit on the car you've made to put on the car. So what we're going to do now is etch prime these, give them a coat of paint, and then tomorrow we'll bolt them up underneath the car, and tomorrow I will even get the camera under the car. Right, and so here are the brackets, all nice and dry and fully covered, ready to be bolted under the car. Off of this outrigger and body mount, we've got this 2x2, and just here on these parts, these are now bonded to the bottom of the box. It's bolted to the chassis there, bolts top and bottom, are very secure, and I've stud locked all the bolts. So it doesn't matter what rough terrain this is going over, It's not going to come apart. Further in, here we are then. So to the rear cross member there, we've drilled and tapped it. Here's the 2x2, and you can actually see a bit of splurge there. Yes, splurge, back on the programme. Bit of splurge there, and that is bonded to there. And then we've nut and bolted up to there. Again, everything's stud locked and washered. Everything's super strong. Right then, so box is in, brackets are bolted on and bonded. And now we've fitted the inner, which we've had in and out several times. But the inner is in, the actuator is fixed up. At the moment, a bit like on the tonneau truck, all I've got is 2 wires to the battery, but this will all be wired up to the same sort of remote as we had on the tonneau truck, except this time we're going to put an extra little bit of safety. Because this comes out the side of the car so far, we're going to put a switch on the handbrake so that there's no way this can come out without the handbrake of the vehicle coming on. Anyway, let's see how it works. And there it is. It comes all the way out. Okay, and if we're looking here, we've got this sort of like mini kitchen sort of thing, kitchenette if you will. And it's got a couple of burners, and then it's got a sink just here. So I could stand here and burn things and then extinguish them. Yeah, great. Or, you know, make a cup of tea, whatever you want to do. As with everything, this comes out is the longest throw that we can get on the actuator, sensibly, and on the runners. So we can't come out much further, but it doesn't matter because this works. Where it doesn't work is the end piece, but we have this front face. Now this front face, there's a lip here, and that fits up to this rubber seal. And then this sloping part goes back to here. And it fits lovely, it fits on the end of here. But you can see there is a problem. When this is on here, we can't open this side. So that is a problem. Also a problem, when this is finished, this is just like the master to make a mould from. But this will be made in really tough, thick fiberglass. Fiberglass, very strong and everything, but it will burn. So even if it was just here, it's just too close to the ring. So what we need to do is when this comes out, we need this to hinge down and stay there so that this can open up and everything can be used. Also, we need this to come off because into here will slide the gas bottle. And to make sure that you can easily change the gas, here's the gas bottle here, to make sure we can easily change that, this needs to be, it needs to be easily removable or flat downable, and also to get around this gas we need this to move. And what I want to do, I want to try and use the linear movement we already have here, probably with a cam and a cable, just to push this out so it's far enough away. It will be spring loaded so it springs back in to fit up with the seal, but also so it can fold all the way down for the easy changing of the gas. And believe me, those few sentences there were really easy to say. Actually doing all that stuff I think is going to be considerably harder. Right, and so there it is, it's back there. Now what I've done as a temporary measure, I've welded this piece of flat steel in there, tapped a couple of holes, and I'm going to screw this so, get it the right way round, it mounts on there as it should. Once it's mounted and it's in its exact position it needs to be in, then I'm going to think about making a hinge mechanism that's going to fit under here. Obviously it doesn't need to open when this is closed, but once this is open, it does need to open. That's saying open a lot, isn't it? But anyway, I'm going to fix this on here, and then we'll see what we've got to do to make this this mechanism work. Okay, so I've put these two screws onto that piece of flat, and this fits up to the stainless steel flange plate. Very nice, and it's sealing onto the seal. Now, as I open it, you'll see that this thing moves, and I need it to be there, not a little bit off, absolutely there. So if we just watch closely as this opens, see it just flops about on those two screws. So what I need to do is find a way to hold this square on those two screws so I get, you know, more of a precise sort of placement for this. Right, and so to make this temporarily stay exactly where it needs to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some duct tape on the back of here. Tape on the back of there. Now, I did measure it. Now, I measured the gap, because of course when this screws back, it screws up to this rubber. So it doesn't actually screw up to this bar. So now I've got a gap in there I need to take up, and when it was on, I dropped my pen in there, and the pen fitted. So I'm going to use that as my initial packer. Okay, so I've got this piece of wood that's about as thick as that pen. God, this is technical, isn't it? I'm going to glue that on there. So, bit of mitre fix, literally my favourite thing. Liberally apply car body filler, as if there was an episode was going to go by without it. I'm going to apply car body filler onto that. Then I'm going to shut the drawer, screw that in, and as the car body filler dries, that will give me exactly where it's got to sit. And it will hold it there long enough for me to, you know, sort of contemplate and think about what kind of hinge mechanism I'm going to use at the bottom. So let's get the plodder out. Now, and all this to do now is wait for like 15 minutes. That will dry, and then that has given me the perfect packer. And the bar that goes across, well, I'm going to cut that out and throw it away anyway. And also, I put that tape on the inside of this master mould so that will just pop off anyway. The next time this moves, it's going to be hinged. Right, and so to make that, to make the door on the front of the drawer go, you know, pivot down a little bit, I've got these hinges. As always, I bought a fire door hinge, and these are like I don't know what they're called, a butterfly hinge or something, where they stick out. And I've got these purely because they're just a little bit longer in each leaf, and I don't really know what I'm going to do. I've had a quick look, but you know, if I've got to modify these hinges, I've got plenty to go at. So I've fitted two hinges under there. I'm going to remove these two screws. Hopefully we'll give this a yank and it will crack off the bondo, and then this will swing down and we'll be able to make some sort of mechanism that controls this swinging. But for now, let's see if this bit's worked. Actually, we have got some binding. That it's binding on the actuator. So what I'll do, I'll mark that with the die grinder. I shall open that out a little bit, and then we've got this. And what we really want is we want this to open, and once it comes to fully open, we want this to go and then go like. and then that's far enough away you can get your pan on, and then when it goes back in, it will pull this back in, dunk, and then go back in and lock up. I've spent probably 2 days on this now, and finally I've got it somewhere near. It's got to be as a prototype. You've got to think, you know, it's a very complicated thing. There's a lot of moving parts, and just to get it just to this has been quite hard. But now it does work. I've sort of made I think it's got a proof of concept, is it? I don't know. But I've got it there. So now it all works, and all I've got to do now is strip it down, remake all the bits which are like this, which this is sort of fiberglass and dye bond. Looks very nice. We were going to take a mould off of this, but it's turned out that this is way too complicated for fiberglass. So I think what we're going to have to do is make this with a bit more precision and make this in steel, so we can get stronger mountings into it and things like that, because there's a lot going on with this door, as you'll see. So let's have a look. This is how it works, and now just run through some of the ways that I've made it work and some of the things we're going to do moving forward. Right, and so here we go. Here it is, opening out. It all moves nice and smoothly on that super electrical actuator. Okay, just to point out here one of the major problems we have. Now, this drawer can only really be this long, and we can only have this much throw with this actuator. To get this to come out far enough, you can't really do with this hob. Because what happens is, with this cover on the end, it doesn't all fit. So we end up with this problem. We can't open the lid because of this, because we've not got the throw. However, ingenuity rules the day. So we made it do this. And as you can see, at the end of the stroke, a cable pulls on a lever, works like a cam, and that opens that. So now, beans for tea? Well, thank you very much. We can actually get into the hob, and it comes out far enough to get to the sink, and all of that works really nice. So, things that are still to do. Okay then, so like I say, we're going to remake all of this in steel. This piece here, which almost looks like stainless steel, but it's just very shiny new steel. This is just mild steel, so it's got to be welded down the seam. It's very long. We need to seam weld that. We need to prep and paint this as well. So then, around this side, we have this lever. This is the lever that operates this door. This door is hinged at the bottom, spring mounted. And then as it comes out, this cable pulls from the back of the fixed box, which is mounted to the chassis of the van, pulls this arm and opens this door. And as you saw, it worked. It is super, super slick. This has been put together more in a prototype way, so we need to make this more like the finished product. I know in a previous episode you saw me spend hours making this. And this has been, as you can see on the back, it's been butchered and chopped around and bodged together, all just to find placement of hinges, placement of rebate to seal to the rubber seal, just things like that. Just a lot of development work has gone on with this, and it's had holes drilled in it and all sorts. And my original plan was that I was going to make a fiberglass mould of this and then mould it off, but because it's double-sided, these bits have to be thin. It seems very, very difficult to make the mould. So we've moved on, you know, because this is the development of something, and this ain't going to be right. So we've moved on to making it in steel. So here it is in all its steely form, just welded. this will be the actual cover on there, you know. But I've cut everything, all of this out with the plasma cut. In the future, probably, I will measure this and draw this in AutoCAD so this can all be laser cut and this comes out a little bit quicker. But for now, this is a new front. I think I've got some grinding to do. Okay then, so quite a bit of sanding and grinding later. There we are. It's all nice, all clean and good, exact copy of that. Now, it's an exact copy of that on that side. I know it's not got the pattern, but what we need is the exact copy on the inside. I'm aware this sounds boring, so I'll just do it dead quick and then boom, it'll be like back and it'll all be done. So I'll just get on and do it, and like magic it will appear. So then, yeah, this is it. This is the inside. As before, it's got the rebate, but this is all made in steel. To have this just to hang down like this, you know, it had to be strong, so there's a lot of weight there. And I've remade basically the whole thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this fit perfectly to here. As you can see, it stands off probably about 8 or 9 mil. It stands off sort of less there and more there. But I'm going to make it fit perfectly to here. I'm going to do it a lot like I do the bonnets on the taxis. I'm going to do this bit in fiberglass. Here we are, and we're going to make this fit perfectly. So first thing to do is mask up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to mask everything where I'm going to put some fiberglass. And also with your masking tape, always remember that the shape your masking tape goes on, like here, I've put that and it's got a nice lazy curve to it. That is what the inside of, that's what the inside of the fiberglass lip is going to look like. That is masked up. What I'm going to do here, as always, I'm going to stick all of this fiberglass in, all the fiberglass on first, and I'm going to stick it all on with some contact adhesive. Look, I've got fancy contact, I've got trim fix. Oh yeah, very nice. I'm going to stick all this on, I'll go over it with a coat of resin, and then I'll probably go another couple of coats, but I'll just put them on sort of wet. But just for the start off, we'll stick these in place, get everything nicely aligned and super neat and tidy. So, it's the next day. All of this is dried very nice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to try and prise this away without damaging the paint, but I have masked up really good, so it should be okay. Okay, so what I've done, I've removed it and I have trimmed up this edge. This is a really complicated thing. So you've got this that seals to the body, then you've got this flange that seals to the seal around the edge of the box, the hinges here, which are in, this just bolts on now, but this was really difficult to get this hinge placement. As you can see, it's a very odd shape, the whole thing is, but At the beginning of this, I didn't know what shape it would be by making this prototype. Now I do. So that's the reason we do this sort of thing. On the other side, we've bodyworked all the way around here. All of this where it's spot welded, this will all be smoothed out, and these gaps and holes will be filled. Okay then, so here's the door, all painted in Raptor, all done and dusted, and just ready for its final fit. Okay then, so this Land Rover job, putting a tiny kitchen into a drawer, has turned out to be quite hard and very time consuming, and we filmed a lot of material. Bad luck for me, good luck for you, that there may be one, maybe even two bonus episodes of Custom Works coming out this week, all ready for next week, where we're going to get straight into the Austin A40 Pick-up project, and that's what next week's going to be all about. That's going to be awesome. So until then, thank you very much and good night.